Good afternoon to all our listeners and viewers of the NDC Heartbeat podcast. We're happy to welcome all those who are listening on radio via WeFM, Vibes FM, Spice Capital Radio. We've got 100.5 FM out of Labby in Grenville. We have Rampoon Radio out of Delaware in the United States, and other stations picking up the heartbeat here and there. Also, let me welcome those who are on the NDC Facebook platform and also on YouTube. Well, for today's program, what we're going to be doing, we're going to be chatting with the PRO of the National Democratic Congress. We'll be touching on several matters of national interest, matters regarding the party, and just giving a general update as to what is ticking. Then we'll also be chatting with the Honorable Minister Philip Telesford. He'll be chatting about his recent reconfirmation to run in St. George Southeast, and he's also going to be giving some updates on his constituency. So stay with us. Back with you in a moment.
2026, we will break ground right here. This is a once-in-a-generation opportunity to build a world-class facility, invest in our people, and deliver healthcare for Grenadians by Grenadians. Thank you for joining us on this journey. In early 2026, we will break ground right here. This is a once-in-a-generation opportunity to build a world-class facility, invest in our people, and deliver healthcare for Grenadians by Grenadians. Thank you for joining us on this journey.
Purpose. The Grenada Independence Planning Committee and the Grenada Association Toronto, under the auspices of the Grenada High Commission in Canada and the Consulate General of Grenada in Toronto, present our Diaspora Independence Celebrations 2026. First, we have an ecumenical Independence Thanksgiving service on Sunday, February 1st at 3 p.m. at the St. Charles Borromeo Church, 811 Lawrence Avenue West, North York, Ontario. Secondly, we have a flag raising ceremony on Thursday, February 5th at 12 noon at the podium roof inside Toronto City Hall at 100 Queen Street West, Toronto, Ontario. Then we have two symbolic independence illuminations. Our national colors will light up the tower clock at the Brampton City Hall at 2 Wellington Street West, Brampton, Ontario on Saturday, February 7th at sunset until the next morning. Then later that same Saturday evening, all roads lead to the world famous Niagara Falls, where from 10 p.m. the colors of the night will be gold, red and green at 6650 Niagara Parkway, Niagara Falls, Ontario. Fifthly, we have our Independence Gala on Saturday, February 14th from 6:30 p.m. at Parkview Manor, 55 Barbara Green Road, North York, Ontario. And then on Saturday, April 12th from 1 p.m. we shall close it off with a splash of Showcase Grenada, a celebration of all things Grenadian, culture, food, dance, games, and much more at the Jamaican Canadian Association Centre, 995 Arrow Road, North York, Ontario. For more information, call 647-594-7210 or send an email to info@grenadaconsulate.com. Grenada at 52, anchored in faith, guided by purpose.
When stars align, greatness outshines all hatred in space and time. So still we rise.
Time to support the NDC Canada chapter fundraiser. Join us for an epic karaoke night and oil on sale. January 24th, 5 p.m. at the JCA, 995 Arrow Road, North York, Ontario. Karaoke night and oil on sale. Sing your heart out with friends and enjoy delicious oil down while doing so. Got questions? Call 647-242-9256 or 416-209-6226 or 905-865-1027. Grab your friends and join the fun. Entry is just $10 with delicious food, refreshing drinks, and fantastic music. Plus, enjoy our mouth-watering oil dang for only $25. Pre-orders are available. Don't forget you can e-transfer your payments to ndcgroupcan@gmail.com. Karaoke night. We can't wait to see you all on January 24th.
So I'm grateful.
Welcome back to our NDC family and all those who are listening on radio and those who are online. Right now, I have virtually the parliamentary representative for St. George Northeast, the Honorable Ron Redhead. He's also PRO of the National Democratic Congress. He was here last week along with the General Secretary, and we just wanted to follow up on a few items just for the basic edification of the general public and all our listening and viewing fans. Welcome once again to the Heartbeat, Minister Redhead.
Yes, sir.
MP Redhead, you're good to go.
Yes, ma'am.
I see last night you were working hard as usual, you know. You're getting it going.
Yes.
Getting it going.
And I would like to thank you for engaging with Miss Maria Boca.
Yes.
I think she's a very positive person or individual in the community of Boca, and it augurs well for the entire St. George Northeast to have somebody of that nature, good community person, someone who believes in youth in particular and understands that we need to get all the young people together. It doesn't matter who they are. And so last night was just another event that she organized for the village, but in particular, people from all over the constituency came. As far as Vendom, you had one or two, as far as Tempe coming on board and just enjoying her company.
Mm-hmm.
I got a nice bottle of coconut water and everything, so everything went well.
Fantastic.
Although I arrived late. Yes.
Well, we continue to have late meetings. What can I say?
Yes.
But nonetheless, she is also very much involved in the planning and execution, assisting the team in New York, celebrating Grenada Day in New York.
That's correct.
Massive event.
Correct.
So hats off to her. Anyhow, let us follow up on last week. We spoke about prosthetic limbs and the large number of persons whom, unfortunately, needing prosthetic limbs. What is the update on that? I was fortunate to meet the guy out of Trinidad who is here in Grenada, but give us an update as to what's the latest for the benefit of those needing limbs.
Sure. All right. So we were able to complete Barateri only yesterday, visit at Karaku with at least 5 amputees in Karaku. I think there might have been one from PT Martinique. I stand to be corrected. However, we were able to engage all of them and complete all of the measurements. On behalf of myself and certainly Government of Grenada, MIT, the Minister himself, Minister Andy Williams, we'd like to thank the Amputee Center down at Trinidad and Tobago, Mr. Mario Goodell, for his commitment. So last Sunday to Saturday, they completed the entire country in terms of the list that they have. And so we were able to get measurements for at least 60 to 50, 60 individuals. We are satisfied that the process that was used is going to be able to redound to them receiving their limbs as early as March 2026. And then when the Amputee Center return, then we will deal with the other batch. We have averaged the total, they're about to be about between 200 to 500 Grenadians that may be amputees and is living with the condition. And it's an estimate. It could be lower, it could be higher, but we have averaged it. So we believe that this pilot, for example, is going to be able to help start the process of institutionalizing the care for amputees in Grenada.
I mean, this is really a heartbreaking situation for those who have had to live without their limbs for so long. And this really requires a hats off to the government of Grenada and of course yourself and Minister Andy Williams for drilling down and driving this initiative, because it comes at a time when people need to keep walking because so many things are happening. So they need to keep walking to continue things happening.
That is true.
So congrats, to yourselves for making this possible. I can only just imagine the smiles and admiration a lot of these folks have to have the opportunity to now get their limbs to get moving.
Yes,
so congrats on that. Let us talk about the issue with the fishermen.
Yes.
I know that the MP for St. George Southwest, the Honourable Lennox Andrews, is up in Carriacou along with his colleague, the Honourable Tevin Andrew, and they're going to be chatting with the fishermen. Give us a little insight as to what is going to be happening there.
Sure. So yesterday, the Minister of Blue Economy, of course, Agriculture, Economic Development, et al., he, along with Minister Tevin Andrews, as mentioned, the Member of Parliament for Carriacou, Petit Martinique, engaged the fishermen in Petit Martinique, or the fishing community in Petit Martinique. And so it was a pleasure for them to get the information through the engagement to be able to now come back and finalize whatever planning that we have to do. I think it's important to note that we have done what was required for over 10 years or so to be able to allow our fishermen the opportunity, particularly the tuna fishermen and the tuna boats, to be able to ply their trade and to get sale. The fishermen continue to enjoy their sales, albeit it will be down because of the American ban, because the US is one of the larger exporters through the third-party exporters where the arrangement is made. However, we continue to encourage the fishermen to do what they have to do. Something I want to highlight, which is very important, we touched on it last time, but I think we need to double down on it again, that part of this requirement, so to speak, to get the ban released is that the government had to engage in training individuals to be able to install the VHS system, right? This is important because it has never been done, and therefore we needed to boost the capacity, acquire the equipment on one hand, and then boost the human capacity to be able to train people to install this. This is something that is going to be new to the fishermen, and what we want to encourage is, in this first instance, in order to fix the ban, certainly the government is coming out and leading the charge in it. But the expectation is that for future and going forward, fishermen will have to equip their boats, their trawlers, with this VHS system, among other things. And so it's a means for the government and the fisher folk and the fishing community to engage in partnership over this. It is not one against the other, and that is something we want to highlight. Again, since last year, the government begun a series of engagement with fishermen to be able to resolve this. I think there was a delegation that met with the Honorable Prime Minister sometime earlier on this year, and that engagement, again, was successful. What we want to encourage people is that we will have challenges time and time, things that are not caused, from this administration, things that we may inherit. But what we want to maintain focus on is a resolution, or better said, a solution to the problem. We do not believe that when there is a challenge, let's say in the fishing community, for example, that we need to put our hands up in the air and say all is lost. All is not lost. And if you have that mentality, I want to discourage it, because it's a defeatist mentality. That is why people who probably was dreaming of going to the moon never was able to successfully do so, because they are a defeatist mentality. We will face challenges as a people, but it is our collective ability to resolve them. And so we are satisfied that we have begun the process of a full resolution altogether.
MP, tell me, how long has this matter gone back to?
Well, as far back as 2016, I stand to be corrected, far back as 2016.
So you're looking at 9-10 years that this matter should have been resolved. Are the fishermen conscious of this situation, and that this government is now trying its best to rectify an issue and a problem that should have been resolved 9-10 years ago?
I would say yes. In terms of ensuring that we have a resolution, one of the things we needed to do, again, was to be honest about this situation. This didn't just happen just like that. And I think what should come out of it is a clear and I would say a permanent solution to this specific problem, but it should create the opportunity for us to know how do we rectify problems in the future and how can we successfully avert major challenges like that in the future. Because today's fish ban, tomorrow it could be the banning of any other product. Grenada is also an agricultural nation, and therefore this administration is keen on it. And how do we avoid that? Take, for example, we are building our first national hatchery, and therefore you know how it is. You may have the FDA, you may have other governing bodies that needs to approve the sale or export of your good. And so we need to ensure that we are on our P's and Q's with it. I want to take this opportunity probably to encourage the public servants, those who may be directly responsible with that specific responsibility in terms of ensuring that the quality of what Grenada is exporting, for example, is of the best, and we are meeting international standards to do their best to be able to share the information and to be on top of the situation. Oftentimes, a minister of government will have to receive the blame because he or she will have to take the responsibility as the chief policy lead. But by and large, some of these problems are, something that I believe we could avoid. So overall, it laid the foundation for how we see ourselves in the interaction with the global situation, noting fully well that when we consume here locally, the goal is for export, and we must also understand that we need to meet international standards.
Very good indeed. Now, the national hatchery to which you speak of is part of the policy agenda of the government of Grenada in ensuring that we have food security.
Yeah.
This is part of the food security initiative. Now, this hatchery is intended, therefore, to produce baby chicks only? Mm-hmm. Right.
Well, yes. In the first instance, I don't want to speak on the overarching long-term goal because that's something that the ministry is certainly actively looking at. But in the first instance, that's what we want to be able to produce that in collaboration with the private sector.
Right, because in the past or presently, baby chicks are flown in by air from, is it Barbados or Trinidad? I think it's Barbados.
Yeah, I think Barbados.
Yeah, I think it's Barbados. Yeah,
stand to be corrected.
Yeah,
but I think
baby chicks coming in, and
you have farm and garden. You have others.
Right. Yeah. So I mean that in itself is a major and a great policy decision taken because you're talking about securing food from its infant stage to its adult stage and then consumption.
Yes.
So congrats on that. Gas prices.
Yes.
Last week you mentioned that the price is now at 13 something, the lowest ever that I could remember. Mm-hmm. Any chances of it going down further?
Well, we will continue to pray. We will continue to pray and hope. But Brother Terry, it's a wonderful opportunity for Grenadian consumers of petrol to see that, notwithstanding that what we said about it in terms of being open to market forces, today we are seeing now less, notwithstanding also the global economic uncertainty that presents itself. And I think in the context of consumption and the whole question of cost of living, this is a major achievement for consumers. Now, we can't gloat because these things are very susceptible to external shocks and the external environment. And so we never could tell what could happen. But for now, what we are satisfied with, having removed the cap, the consumers will enjoy the reduction in the cost of petrol. In addition to that, we have also reduced petrol tax by $2.50 to be exact. And so that has seen the consistent reduction overall in gas prices that we pay at the pumps. Are we satisfied? No. Because we are talking, for example, the diversification of our economy through oil and gas. And so it is really a beginning of what we envision to be the future of Grenada, where we can enjoy low prices, where we could enjoy a reasonable cost of living for our people. So it's a start, and we believe it's a start in the right direction. We have more things to do in terms of getting general cost of living that is being influenced by external forces down. That's why we are improving the food security. For example, you heard the Minister Lennox Andrews spoke about the spice pigs and the spice sheep. A number of things that is coming on stream through the Ministry of Agriculture to be able to bolster that food security and reduce the general cost of living.
Right. Now, do you have the figure as to what government is foregoing by way of revenue in order to cause the gas price to be that low?
Well, no. But let me just explain. The government removed the cap, right? And so what that is going to do, because if you have the cap, when the gas prices go beyond a certain amount, even if the cap is there, let's say pegged at 15, when it balloons up, it is costing the government money. And so when we came in, the last administration had on a cap, and it cost us in the millions, right? I don't have the exact figure of that, but it did cost us some money, because the international cost of it ultimately was out of our control. But putting the cap does these things. What we are saying is that having removed the cap in this instance, it is not a situation where if the prices, for whatever reasons, God forbid, goes back up, we will not immediately intervene. This is said on the release of gas prices every single time, I think around the 18th of every month, and it is put out there as information as to the government clear policy and strategy, how we can curtail if this price in particular exceeds a certain amount. But removing the cap is beneficial when the prices go down so that the consumers can enjoy that reduction.
Fantastic. Now, I noticed that the Ministry of Finance issued a release recently, the recent World Bank report on Grenada,
yes.
Which continues to show real positivity for Grenada.
Yes.
Tell us your views as to what these continuing great reports can do for the image and the economy of Grenada.
Yeah. Well, certainly it helps to curtail all of the dishonest statements that you hear time and again some individuals making on the situation, and it helps to put into perspective the state or status of the Grenadian economy under the National Democratic Congress administration. That's one. Two, it allows for us to be able to, in a sense, access greater investment. It allows for us, because the picture, the outturn, so to speak, of government policies is reflecting positively in terms of the impact on the economy and for the country. So it opens opportunities for us to continue, let's say, diversifying the economy, to continue reducing unemployment, to continue improving the growth rates, and to continue reducing the reliance on just tourism and construction, again, going back to the diversification. So it allows for us to continue that trend of upward mobility, the diversification of the economy, and the general improvement that we see. Now, I think it's important to make this point, because when these releases are out there, it is not a moment for you to gloat. It is saying to you that you are performing well, you are doing good, and you need to continue. That is the most important point. And continue on the development of your country, which we are doing. And so it is not a case for us to say, well, we have arrived. We know that we have a lot more to do. But it's very good sometimes to see people looking out and looking in from outside on the situation, being able to say, you are doing well, you need to continue.
Fantastic. How well are we attempting to educate the grassroots man on the importance of these reports from the World Bank?
Well, it is a task, because you literally would have to take this and bring it down to ground value to say just how it relates to an ordinary individual. But I would put it in this context, that one of the things I think we need to pivot into to begin that whole process of, or continue rather, the whole process of the mindset change, is this whole question of the function and role of the community. So for example, when we talk about economic growth, if we have crises in any specific constituency, whether it be unemployment, crime, violence, etc., these things impact negatively on our overall output. So if, take for example, any community throughout Grenada, if it is underperforming in terms of the employment situation, more and more young people are staying home, they are dealing drugs, engaged in violence, etc. This is negatively going to impact the GDP, which will negatively impact our, let's say for example, the tourism sector. Right? Grenada is a peaceful place, but if for some strange reason we start seeing spikes in different constituencies with crime and so on, it will impact negatively. So just understanding how, as simple as it may look, these things could influence these reports and ultimately influence the economic situation of the country. It's a task sometimes to just take that down, because you also have to deal with naked and open propaganda, where people would start to say, well, they said that we shouldn't just gloat on reports. But during a previous time, what we were saying is that some of the information was just very basic in terms of what was happening in the country. But the pivot, the move, the reason why we had concerns back then is, for example, we were not diversifying the economy. The question of pension retroactive payment was a noose around the government's neck. We were able to deal with all of this. So yes, we still get the IMF reports, but the situation, the picture of the Grenadian economy is much better than when we came in. As I mentioned, for example, the IMF in previous reports recognized that the retroactive pension payments would have been a crisis if not handled properly. But this administration was able to pay that, handle it properly, and now put Grenada on a sustainable or a little more resilient path of growth. So just understanding it from that perspective, no, the situation is totally different. And we, for example, disagreed with the rate of growth that the IMF have. Locally, we believe that a lot more things are happening and that we could fit it in or factor it into the overall economic picture. Take, for example, the current construction project that is taking place up in St. Patrick. I know people have expressed the concerns overall about the environmental impact, etc. We believe that if we continue to follow the rules in that regard, and if we continue to work with any investment that is bringing development and jobs to our country, that we could be able to achieve our collective goals. And they must do so in the context of the protection of the environment. And we believe that for now, based on how everything is going, we are seeing just that. Again, the deal was made prior, so we have no specific responsibility to change that as it is. The project is ongoing, but we need to make sure that it happens at a faster pace and so on. So just things like that, Brother Terry, and just saying ordinarily, when you clean up your economy, your community, when you engage in the cleanup for the independence, when you remove the derelict vehicles parked on the side of the road, these things help to see the flowing of traffic a little better, and we could reduce some of the lateness, we could reduce some of the challenges that we have on a minute basis, but which ultimately adds up to the bigger picture of Grenada.
Thank you very much, MP Redded. We'll take a short break and we'll get back to you in a moment.
Sure.
Time to support the NDC Canada chapter fundraiser. Join us for an epic karaoke night and oil dung sale, January 24th, 5 p.m. at the JCA, 995 Arrow Road, North York, Ontario. Karaoke night and oil dung sale. Sing your heart out with friends and enjoy delicious oil down while doing so. Got questions? Call 647-242-9256 or 416-209-6226 or 905-865-1027. Grab your friends and join the fun. Entry is just $10 with delicious food, refreshing drinks, and fantastic music. Plus, enjoy our mouth-watering oil down for only $25. Pre-orders are available. Don't forget you can transfer your payments to ndcgroupcan@gmail.com. Karaoke night. We can't wait to see you all on January 24th.
So I'm grateful.
2026, we will break ground right here. This is a once-in-a-generation opportunity to build a world-class facility, invest in our people, and deliver healthcare for Grenadians by Grenadians. Thank you for joining us on this journey.
Time to support the NDC Canada chapter fundraiser. Join us for an epic karaoke night and oil on sale. January 24th, 5 p.m. at the JCA, 995 Arrow Road, North York, Ontario. Karaoke night and oil on sale. Sing your heart out with friends and enjoy delicious oil down while doing so. Got questions? Call 647-242-9256 or 416-209-6226 or 905-865-1027. Grab your friends and join the fun. Entry is just $10 with delicious food, refreshing drinks, and fantastic music. Plus, enjoy our mouth-watering oil down for only $25. Pre-orders are available. Don't forget you can e-transfer your payments to ndcgroupcan@gmail.com. Karaoke night. We can't wait to see you all on January 24th.
So I'm grateful.
You have chosen unity over disunity. You have chosen resilience, flexibility, inclusiveness, and strength over infighting, weakness, vacillation, or wish-washiness. You have chosen boldness and courage over timidity and the same old, same old. You have chosen positive change and transformation. You have sent a clear and resounding message to the tri-island state of Petite Martinique, Carriacou, and Grenada that the National Democratic Congress is once more on the path of inspiring hope and belief in our people and in our nation. That the National Democratic Congress is once more on the path of beginning the process of creating a sustainable and brighter future for our young, vibrant, creative, and innovative population. You have recognized and honored and rewarded the tremendous contributions made by all of the NDC stalwarts. And for this superb choice, I say thank you.
In 2026, we will break ground right here. This is a once-in-a-generation opportunity to build a world-class facility, invest in our people, and deliver healthcare for Grenadians by Grenadians. Thank you for joining us on this journey.
Welcome back to all our listeners and viewers of the NDC Heartbeat podcast. We now have in studio the representative for St. George Southeast, the Honorable Philip Telesford. He'll be my next guest, but we'll just be wrapping up with MP for St. George Northeast, the Honorable Ron Redhead. So, MP Redhead, are you still there?
Yes, I am, Brother Terry.
Great. Well, we just wanted to get your closing comments based on our discourse earlier on, before we now introduce MP for St. George Southeast.
Sure, and let me take this opportunity to say thanks to all of the listeners, viewers. I want to continue to impress upon you to get registered to vote. Remember to focus on the National Democratic Congress's achievements. Remember that we have done so in record time in terms of the amount of things that we have seen happening. And speaking to that, we have commenced our engagements with constituencies and our representatives to prepare certainly for the next general election, but more so to prepare for the future development of Grenada, Carriacou, Petit Martinique, which we have been doing over the last 3.5, 4 years or so. So we want to continue to engage Grenadians in a meaningful and genuine fashion about our development, knowing fully well that it's not an easy situation and that we mean well. And I know you have in studio our colleague, Minister of Health, and more so his important role as Member of Parliament. I want to congratulate him as well on his recent confirmation as the next candidate, and I dare say the next Member of Parliament for St. George Northeast, the Honourable Philip Telesford.
Well, thank you very much indeed, MP Redhead, and I'm sure when your time comes around, the situation will be equal.
Same. Sure.
Thank you very much. Now it's my pleasure to welcome to the set MP Philip Telesford, and congratulations. Let me just echo the sentiments expressed by MP Redhead. Congratulations on your endorsement once again by your constituents. How was the feeling like?
Well, thank you, Terry, and good afternoon to everyone listening in on this podcast. It is a privilege indeed to join you here, and I wish everyone Happy New Year, both at home and in the diaspora, and all of NDC's family. And of course, it feels really, really good to be endorsed by the St. George Southeast branch to carry the mantle for the next cycle of elections in Grenada. It is indeed a very humbling experience for me, and I'm very, very grateful for the opportunity to serve, to continue serving the residents of St. George Southeast. There's quite a lot of work to be done, but I'm prepared and up to the task.
Fantastic. It was indeed a very exciting moment.
Yes, indeed. I mean, the entire environment was electrifying. It was a short notice. It was a special branch meeting that was held. And the notice was pretty short, but people really did come out in the numbers from every single polling division. We had very, very good representation. I think that was very important, heartwarming, and encouraging for me. That really inspired me, and knowing that you have the support of so many around the constituency. People are energized. The atmosphere was totally electrifying. I've never seen the branch so electrified before. And it only underscores the fact that people are pleased with what the government of Grenada has been doing, with what the party is doing, and that it says to us, look, we want to continue the progress and the work that has been started, and we want to ensure that we have our NDC government, be returned to office, and that the people are ready to make that profound statement. And so we have a responsibility now as candidates, when the time so is called, to really work hard and to make this happen. And we understand that this is no walk in the park. We take absolutely nothing for granted. This has to be a surgical exercise where we really go into the bowels of the constituency, every single polling division, and understand what is needed to be done to actually bring home the bacon for the National Democratic Congress. And the constituents reminded me that we were the first to declare last time, and being the first to declare simply means the machinery has to be right. People have to be on the ball. You have to know your constituency, you have to be able to have people who are efficient enough to count the results on time and be able to give you the information that is required. And so this is what is laid up before us, and of course, we'll do everything in our power to ensure that we're able to do just that.
Well, you had a fantastic turnout. It was electrifying. What advice would you give to your colleague ministers when their time comes around?
Well, I'm not sure what advice to give. I mean, this is just about following the lead of the people, because we are serving people. I think, as Prime Minister put it, we need to really have our portion of humble pie. We need to humble ourselves and understand that this is not about us. Nothing of this about this is about us. We are lifted up by the people. And if the people have not endorsed us, if they do not choose us, then if they do not work with us, then there is no us, really. And so it's all about humility. It's all about finding our balance, being able to aptly balance the work at our respective ministries and focus heavily on the constituency and answering the call in every single village or polling division and ensuring that we do what is needed at this time. And we really just cannot take anything for granted. We have to work extremely hard. I think that's, if I have to give a message to my colleagues, it would be that same message, that we need to be humble, we need to work very hard, and we need to really meticulously approach our work with a sense of pride and ensure that we understand what we're doing. We're not just going through the motion without numbers, without stats, without data, without analysis. No, we have to ensure that we have all the relevant information, tools, and supplies at our disposal to ensure that we do able to bring home our constituencies.
Well, from the turnout at this electrifying event, if each person can guarantee you a minimum of 5 new voters, well, then you're home free. 5 new ones.
Well, I hear you.
Not those that are already registered and you have in the bag. 5 new ones.
I hear you, Terry, but elections are complex, right? No single election will be a reflection of another. People die, people become citizens. There are people who turn the age of 18, voting age. There are people who simply change their allegiance. There are people who are convicted because of what you do. They say, okay, I'm going to give you the opportunity. And there are some who may stand with you for a period of time and then say, look, I think I've had enough. So it's a complex exercise. What is required is analysis of the data and being truthful with yourself, being able to face the data. If you are in doubt, understand that you're in doubt. And where you are uncertain, you have to get to the bottom of the data and be able to approach it sensibly. I think that is what is needed at this time. We have to be honest with ourselves, right? And if we can be brutally honest, I think we certainly would be able to start really getting a sense of what the data means before us. So yes, getting 5 new voters, that too is important. And every single ingredient in this whole compendium of things that are needed is important. Yeah, so we really do have to look at the data carefully and meticulously.
So what is in store for St. George Southeast?
Well,
what can the constituents look forward to with a re-elected Philip Telesford?
I think more importantly is being much more with the people. I think the sense of your presence makes a huge difference in the communities, and treating with some of the social responsibility. It's not about the roads and the new homes that you've been built, and yes, we've done a lot of that during our term, but is a sense of being with the people more than anything else. Of course, I had almost a year of which I could not have done that. We are playing catch up now, so to speak, but we're doing very well. We've just covered Confor, Kalivini, Tepon, that sort of area. We're focusing right now on Laborie and then Upper St. Paul's. We have some work to do in Springs. So we have quite a lot of work to do still. But being there with the people, I believe that is more important than anything else. Addressing a number of problems, like the social issues, reading. We are just about to start a program of reading to treat with that deficiency in some areas of the constituency. So we're going to be starting that. And I want to be personally involved because of what education has done for me as an individual. And so I want to bring that message to the younger ones so that at least something will stick with them and help them to begin to emulate people of who have made it in society. So I want to be able to do that. We continue with our technical courses, plumbing, electrical. We want to start some sewing, skill training, and a number of other technical areas. We want to do some parenting classes too, just to help people to understand because there's a change.
Yeah.
The world has changed. There's a global change. So we have to understand that. We need to do some serious political discussions amongst ourselves, understanding what does politics mean to us, some serious political education, understanding geopolitics, local politics, implications, how does it affect our personal and individual lives, and why should we get involved? We need to answer these questions. Because there are people with us, and something gets them vexed and they jump out, not understanding that what you're actually doing. Because sometimes if you don't get involved, you simply end up with government that are less equipped, less prepared, and a government that you do not desire. And so we have to do those things. And those are social things, but it helps to move the needle because it really addresses the issue of education and how do we rise up as a people? How do we transform and change our individual villages and constituencies to bring the country to where it has to be? Because at the end of the day, when you sum it all up, all the various constituencies, it is about moving the country forward. And I think that is what is really going to help more than anything else.
Fantastic. Well, what we're going to do now is just take a very short break. And when we come back, if you can share with us some of the other accomplishments that you have had in St. George Southeast. So back with you in a moment.
Time to support the NDC Canada chapter fundraiser. Join us for an epic karaoke night and oil on sale. January 24th, 5 p.m. at the JCA, 995 Arrow Road, North York, Ontario. Karaoke night and oil on sale. Sing your heart out with friends and enjoy delicious oil down while doing so. Got questions? Call 647-242-9256 or 416-209-6226 or 905-865-1027. Grab your friends and join the fun. Entry is just $10 with delicious food, refreshing drinks, and fantastic music. Plus, enjoy our mouth-watering oil down for only $25. Pre-orders are available. Don't forget you can transfer your payments to ndcgroupcan@gmail.com. Karaoke night. We can't wait to see you all on January 24th. So I'm grateful.
In 2026, we will break ground right here. This is a once-in-a-generation opportunity to build a world-class facility, invest in our people, and deliver healthcare for Grenadians by Grenadians. Thank you for joining us on this journey.
And viewers of the NDC Heartbeat podcast, we're happy that all those who are joining us on radio, we want to let you know that we may probably go on just past the 1 o'clock hour. And therefore, if you wish to continue on the program, you can join us on our Facebook or YouTube feed. So welcome back, MP Telesford. It's a long time you haven't been here. Yes, it's good to have you on, and of course, for the new year. Yeah, so tell me, what is happening in Southeast by way of projects? What projects have you accomplished over the last 3 years in Southeast St. George.
So we have some projects that are ongoing. I believe I might start with that. The Confer development, we did some work there with the river because we do have a substantial river or water control problem in that area. Because you see the water from, some of the water from Hopevale, Upper Montgelot, Marion, and so ends up in Confer for onward movement out into the ocean. And so as a result of that, one may not understand unless they're actually living in Confer. And thank goodness I lived there for a short while, so I understand the volume of water when it rains, what really goes on in that area and the flooding that really happens and how people's property are being degraded and eroded when it rains heavily. And so we sought to reconstruct the river by widening and put stones, river or ravine. I think ravine might be a better place. And so that is happening. We've done the first phase of it. We need to now approach the second phase, because this is a very critical piece of work that has to happen in order to protect the integrity of people's property and the road itself, and stop the flooding in that area, because it goes all the way down to SOG supermarket. One may not understand, but from the moment it rains, it goes all the way down, and there is a flooding there, even under the bridge by SOG to cross over.
Right.
That drain is blocked.
That's the little bridge that enters you into Fort Judy.
Yeah, and that, as a matter of fact, what is actually needed, although it goes beyond actually constituency now, it's a larger project. That drain is too narrow for the volume of water. So at some point, the Ministry of Works would have to consider cutting that road and building a proper route so that the water can exit, because it's really bad. It's really bad. So that, the two bridges we started, we're hoping to complete the other one soon. We just getting back into work mode for the new year. So we have to complete the first bridge and then reconstruct the other one, and that will help the people within that area. If it floods heavily right now, people are literally trapped inside Confer. There is no escape. They will not be able to go in or out. That is a reality. I mean, people who don't know just don't know, but I'm telling you from experience, if it rains heavily now, that bridge closes off, there ain't no way that the people could go in or out, so we have to fix that. So we have been working on that. We've done maybe 50%, or maybe 45% of the work so far. The road at Hopevale onto Backwater, we were able to repair that piece of road. Well, repair the culvert and reconstruct the waterway, the river. That's the Shemin River, that area there. We were able to reconstruct that again using stone, and it was a very technical piece of work. And you save quite a lot of money by using stone. I just couldn't fathom the amount of money that would have had to go into steel and concrete works, and the amount of days it would have taken had we done it using concrete. But it's a nice work of art, I like to refer to it. We are able to reconstruct that, and that's a nice project. Right now we're on to the Monterey playing field, a legacy playing field that has been one-sided or sloping for a number of years. From the time I've known myself, that little area there has been sloping for all of those years. We've since excavated, flattened, and we're in the process of planting the grass now. We've done quite a lot of work with that. We've constructed the cemetery road, a road in the cemetery, because we've had a lot of falls and problems with the hearse coming in when there's a funeral. So we've constructed that road and built another road, a ring road now that goes around the playing field, so that you can have a one-way traffic in and out of that area to prevent traffic problems when there's a funeral. So that is nicely done. We will be fencing that little playing field soon. So that has to be completed. It's a nice project, a beautiful piece. And I'm excited as to what the final outcome will be. We are in the process of planting the grass, then we have to do some more compacting and leveling and ensuring that we get it to the standard that we want to get it at. It's a nice piece of work. We have to also, within the first 2 quarters of 2026, we'll be focusing on upgrading some of the community centers, some light repairs to both of them, but to 3 of them, that's Monterey, St. Paul's, as well as Marion Plain community centers. We're going to be dealing with that. We also are heavily involved in the significant upgrades to the Laborie Indoor Multipurpose Sporting Facility. We have done a lot of work. People might not have known, but we have a committee in place with a number of technical persons who have started the process. And so we've since had a preliminary discussion with Cabinet to kind of get a sense as to whether or not the government is prepared to really go forward in earnest with it. And so we have started that process, and so we want to get this done this year. There are a number of roads, small roads, and so that has been done on bridges. And so in Laborie, Darefou, there is some work to continue in Darefou. So we've done the first 100 feet or so. Roads and drain, we have to do the second portion, and that road that I'm speaking about was destroyed during the Hurricane Beryl. And so we have to complete that piece of work. And so there are a number of pieces throughout the entire constituency that we are working on at the moment. But I don't want to focus too much on the physical infrastructure. Southeast, I believe, have some good infrastructural work, but there's some new roads that has to be built because of the structure. So for example, Mount Airy to Hopevale, the continuation of that road on the rocks there, if there's a fire or something of the sort, God forbid, there is no way a fire truck will be able to go down there. So we have to continue that road all the way down, and there's some houses that have been built where there's really no road access. We've put some binding there. We have to continue putting binding, but the important thing now is to construct that road so that you have easy access for fire service, police, and so on. Because all of these things are important because it helps with the control of crime and everything else that goes along with it, medical services, being able to reach people and so on in the respective areas. So that, and there's another road from Hopevale to Mont Jaloux. We refer to it as the Pastor Happy Road because he just built his church there. But that particular road, again, the residents living on the inside, it's pure mud as we speak. And we have to build that road this year. It's not a very big project, but it's something that is absolutely necessary. So those are some of the things. The Mont Jaloux playing field, we have the project, we have the project defined. It's a matter of putting the final touches to the costing, to the scope of works, so that we can get that one moving. So that, I'm talking about the basketball court on the Mont Jaloux playing field. So we're looking at that one very seriously this year. But more so than everything else, we now want to ensure that all of the community centers are properly engaged. We were engaged last year. We want to be even more engaged this year with the skill training and all the other projects and so on. Participation in the sporting and cultural activities throughout the constituency. In the month of April, we will be having a road relay. That's a continuation from last year. We started that. It was a beautiful one throughout the constituency. We want to add some more excitement to it by adding a fun day at the tail end of it. So it's a lot of stuff that we want to do. We have already set out our program of community activities. I'm linking a number of NGOs into a number of cultural and sporting activities. So we really want to be engaging in the community, ensuring that we lift ourselves as a people. So in a nutshell, that's what it is.
Great. Yeah. Well, sounds like quite a lot is happening.
Yes, we're doing quite a lot.
Fantastic. Yeah. Well, we are out of time already. I don't know if there's anything else you wish to share to update your constituents in Southeast, but the opportunity is yours.
Yeah, well, I would simply say, that we continue our outreach programs, meeting with people. We have an office at Laborie, that is a parliamentary office at Laborie. I'm usually there on Thursdays, so people can reach me there. The number is 6183, as well as the constituency office. So I have two offices that I operate in the constituency. One is purely government work, where we do the housing, road projects, and all the various other community engagement and community projects that we do. And the constituency office, we also do works there, a lot of different stuff, but people can come in there to have engagement with us. We see quite a number of people on a weekly basis, usually there from 8 to 10 on Fridays, or if I'm not available on Fridays, you can get me there on Saturday mornings from 9 to 12, but I usually go up to 1 or 1:30. But so I'm usually there on Saturdays at the office on Parade. So just in case, because people have complained that they try to come to see me, and sometimes so many people, they get on the way and so on. I just want them to know we are also available on Parade. You can contact us there and let us see how we can reach you and so for your needs. Those who may not want to come directly to any one of those offices, they can also leave a message at the office for me to reach them. If you senior citizens, you're unable to come to the office for one reason or the other, you need to see me, just send a message. If you have a loved one in hospital, you want me to reach out, you want me to provide some support, send a message and we'll try to reach you as quickly as possible.
Great. Fantastic. Sounds like a lot of things are happening.
Yes, things are happening at Southeast.
Well, MP, thank you so very much for being part of the Heartbeat today, and you're welcome all the time and anytime to be back on the Heartbeat to share this great, information that you've just shared here today as to what's happening in your constituency. And congratulations again on the confidence which the people of Southeast has placed in you to confirm that you will be or shall be the next candidate for St. George Southeast. So congratulations and thank you for spending the time today in the Heartbeat. Wonderful.
Thank you, Terry.
Fantastic. And let me thank you, all our listeners and viewers, for being part of the Heartbeat today, and join us again next Sunday when we have another equally stimulating and interesting conversation to have. Earlier on, we had MP Ron Redhead from St. George Northeast, and now we have had MP for St. George Southeast, the Honorable Philip Telesford. Thank you for being part of the Heartbeat, and see you again next Sunday. Have a great Sunday afternoon. Goodbye now.